What's up, friends? I'm LK with Gear & Go, and this video is going to be what I pack for a weekend warrior trip in the woods. Now, you might notice that my bag is already packed, so let's start from the outside and work our way in. This pack is the Gregory Jade 38, and I will make a separate video on what I like about it, what I might change about it, and some alternatives to choose from. That being said, let's work our way down. Starting with the outside pockets, of course I would have my water here. Now for a 1 or 2 night trip, I'm probably not going to plan around water sources and filtering and all of that, just going to bring what I have. So for this, I would probably bring about 3 or 4 liters of water. Right now I have a 1.5 liter smart water bottle on one side, and I would probably have another one of those on the other side in addition to some other water bottle, like my Nalgene. Super lightweight. Water is one of the heaviest things in my pack, so I try to be as accurate as I can. Now, in the brain, I keep what I call my camp items, things that I want to be able to access pretty easily, and things that I don't want to be crushed by other stuff inside the pack. I wear contacts and glasses, so I like to keep my glasses where I can grab them in the middle of the night if need be. My Kindle. This is a controversial one, but I don't want to use my phone battery while I'm out in the woods, especially if it's a small group trip or even a solo trip, and I love to read at night. Next, I have my buff. This has a ton of uses. I wear it during the day a lot while I hike, so the odds of it being in the pack are pretty slim. It's also good if you need something to cover your ears or your neck in the wind. And finally, in here, I have my headlamp. This is the Petzl Tika headlamp, and solid, gets the job done. If I was going on a longer trip, I might bring extra batteries for it, but for an overnight, I'm not going to. So that is what's in the brain. Now, moving on to more of the pack. It has these compression straps on the outside, which is really nice. The only thing is you do have to undo those before you can get to the main pack, so that's something to keep in mind. But if we open this guy up, here in this front pocket, I have my raincoat, easily accessible if it starts raining and I want to throw that sucker on. And I have my puffy jacket. Now, I would probably be wearing this, at least for a spring or fall hike. I tend to run cold, so likely wearing, but it does fit in the pack, which is what I wanted to show. Moving on to the body of the pack. Now, as a caveat, we're going to start with food. I have that on top here, and this is not the actual food I would be bringing on a weekend trip. This is just kind of what I have laying around to hopefully estimate the volume and the weight that would be involved in packing food. But this is not the actual nutrition that I would recommend for the trail. That being said, a couple of walking tamales. These would come on trail with me. These are solid. If you've never tried these, highly recommend. Even just as like an afternoon snack, a little boost. Yum. Delish. But you would probably want to have your food in a bag, especially if you're in bear country. You know, obviously pay attention to what you need to do for the location you're in. But right now, I just threw it in on top. And sometimes, honestly, that's where I leave it. For better or for worse. So, you've got your food. Stray granola bar. And then, of course, you need your camp kitchen set up. Normally when I hike with other people, they are the ones who have the stove and the pot, but I do have my own pot. It's heavy, it's bulky, it's stained and beat up, and it has these little cups inside of it. I'm not recommending this one. It's super heavy and totally unnecessary, but you could theoretically fit a stove and your spoon, whatever else you need, your gas in here. Got this little, it's fine. It gets the job done. Moving on to the next thing. We have toiletries. I like to take some wipes with me, baby wipes. They are useful for a number of things, you know, hygiene, camp bathroom, whatever else you need. I keep them in a bag though, so they don't leak. And then my medical bag, or like my little toiletries kit. Since this is just a 1 or 2 night trip, I'm not going to take that much in the way of medical stuff, just Band-Aids, some moleskin, and then I like lotion on my hands at night, especially with the wind chill. Extra hair tie. Like I said before, I wear contacts and glasses, so I would definitely take several pairs of contacts. And then Body Glide. Love it. It's my secret weapon to avoid chafing in any location. So, toiletries bag. I keep it super simple, sweet. Oh, and then for toothbrushes, I don't have them in here right now. I actually need to pick some more up. But for a short trip like this, I would not bother with toothpaste tablets or a little tube or anything like that. There are just these little teeny tiny single-use toothbrushes. I would use those and pack them out. Be sure to not throw them away on trail, obviously. Bring them out with you. So that's my toiletry setup. Pretty simple, especially for a short trip. You don't need much. Next up, we have extra clothes in a little bag. This is really just my base layers and like extra socks, things like that. For a 1 or 2 night trip, I'm not gonna bring a full extra clothing outfit. I'm just gonna assume I don't get wet, so hope for the best. But it is good to have an extra layer at night, especially in the spring and the fall, when it can get really chilly, especially with the wind, or if it does decide to rain. Next up, have my sleep system. So, sleep system wise, try to go pretty lightweight, but there are some things I won't compromise on. Like, I like to have a footprint. This is the footprint for my tent, which I will get to in a second. But, yeah, keep that folded up nicely. Now, let's get to the tent itself, shall we? So I have a Big Agnes Tiger Wall Ultralight 2. I like the 2 because it gives me more space if I'm sleeping in there by myself, or if I am taking another person and I'm real close to them and we don't have a ton of gear with us, then it's nice. We can fit in there. You're super close together though, so keep that in mind. But it's really lightweight, which I just absolutely adore about it. I have not taken it in inclement weather, but I have read online from people that it holds up pretty well, and I got a great discount on it, so I'm happy with it. Hopefully it'll last a while. Pretty excited. So I have the tent body itself that can compress pretty well if I needed it to. I don't have it compressed right now. And then I have the poles and stakes in the bag that they came in. I like to keep it simple and not have a ton of extra gear bags floating around in my main bag. Next up, in the tent, we would of course put sleeping pad. This I don't have compressed right now, and I probably should because it's pretty hefty, takes up a lot of weight. It is the Big Agnes Rapid SL. It's insulated. It's a solid 3-season sleeping pad, and while it is loud and a little bit cumbersome, it's really comfortable, especially if you are a side sleeper like me. All right, before we get to the sleeping bag, there are a couple of things on top of the sleeping bag, just hanging around loose. I have my beanie in case I get cold at night. This is pretty thick, and I would not take it on every trip, but in the shoulder seasons, it could end up being worth it. Also, gloves. Again, these are just some random gloves I have. I would love to get some better performing ones at some point, maybe some merino wool, but for now, these do the trick if I need them. Extra socks, undergarments. Do what you will. I like to have extras of those. And I did have an extra base layer in here just in case somehow I got soaking wet on the hike in, or if it was really, really cold, or if someone else needed it. Doesn't take up a ton of space, and I probably wouldn't take it on every trip, but for a trip that's gonna get in the 30s, definitely would. All right, and finally, we have sleeping bag. Now, you can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I am pretty short. I'm 5'2", which means that I can fit into children's size sleeping bags, or at least some of them. This guy, this bright orange, I don't know how I feel about the color, but I love the bag itself. It is a 20-degree rated bag. It has a nice hood on here, and the length is adjustable so that it can grow as your child grows. Since I'm child height, it works perfectly for me, and the reason that I like it, being the kid size and being the perfect length for me, is that I don't have a bunch of extra space at the bottom, which is kind of twofold advantage. One, it'll keep me warmer because there's not all this dead space, dead air down there to get cold and for my body to try and heat up. The other reason I like it is because it makes it lighter weight and less bulky. This tent and sleeping bag combo and sleeping pad combo has been pretty good to me so far, and while it's relatively new, I am super excited to keep using it and see how it holds up long term. Now, that is everything in my backpack. There is a place in here for a bladder if I wanted to use that, but I'm choosing not to right now. Let's move to the inside pocket of the bag. It says rain cover on it. The Gregory packs come with the rain cover, and I choose to bring that. It folds up really small, so there's no reason I wouldn't bring it, and works good enough. And also in this small pocket, I would put things like my wallet, my car keys, stuff that you have to get to trail, and you're not going to use while you're on trail. Additionally, my extra Ziploc bags, like for trash or whatever else I need them to be for. That is everything on the inside of the pack. Moving to the shoulder straps and all of that jazz. I just used some cheap knockaround sunglasses. They're like 20 bucks. I tend to be rough on sunglasses, whether I break them, lose them, snap them in half, you know how it goes. But the Gregory bag is really cool. It has this little sunglass holder place, and then you can put this little band up on top of it, which is really convenient to use. And then finally, in these little hip belt pockets, in one, I would keep my phone, and in the other, just some snacks. Right now, I think I've got a couple granola bars in here, you know, in case I get the munchies on trail and don't feel like digging through my bag for actual food. That about covers it. Finally, of course, I would have the clothes that I'm wearing and my trail runners. These are Obos. They're pretty new to me. I've only taken them on a few trails, but I really like them so far. They're lightweight and durable and super comfortable. They have a nice wide toe box, which I really appreciate. All right, so there you have it. There is my 38-liter semi-minimalist setup for a weekend warrior trip of 1 or 2 nights of camping, backpacking in the woods. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you want more videos like this, gear reviews, trip planning, adventures, all things, please feel free to drop a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you want to see, and thanks for watching.